Hi everyone, welcome to the channel, and this may be my last video that I do before we head to IWA show in Germany. So I have picked up another gas blowback as the same time I picked up the Double Eagle URGI. So I'm going to be showing that to you today. It comes in the usual Salvo precision case, and we'll take a look at what we've got here. So this is the Spear Rattler. Now you might think this is very similar to the other model I looked at, and you'd be correct, but we're going to show you what the differences are today. So with this model in particular, you get a folding stock in the box, in the hard case. You get the gun itself, and of course you get an Allen key for fitting the stock, and you get a 35 round Stanag magazine. They're exactly the same as the Double Eagle ones, but they don't have any Double Eagle markings on the base plate there. You also get your manuals and such like that. It does have a picture of the old Rattler, but there we go. These cases are really good. You take this insert out, it gives you a normal, like the eggshell foam. So let me just get this case out the way. I've got a bunch of these cases now, and to be honest, they come with the gun inside, so you'd have to pay any extra for them. And I've got like 5 or 6 of them now, and they are some of the best cheaper gun cases that I've got. So I'm pretty good for gun cases for a while. Right. What is it? It's a MCX model from Salvo Precision. You can see it's got all the same stuff as models that we've seen previously, but this is the Spear Rattler. So basically, you can get this in normal Rattler form, and I'll show you what that looks like. This one has got some accessories on it. So the old Rattler, you can see there's some differences in the upper here. I'm not sure if that, I'm pretty sure that must be from the Spear, because this is a Toxicant one. But basically this came grey without all the attachments on. It also had one of these grips, but it's got the older style, fatter handguard, but everything else pretty much identical. The Spear Rattler has the newer Spear style handguard. Now you might be thinking, well, you covered this model recently on the channel, and although you'd be kind of right, this was the model that we looked at. This is the Spear RSAR. So you see it's got Rattler on there, doesn't have it on here. This was a gun that was produced for a specific purpose. I believe the RSAR stands for Reduced Signature Assault Rifle. There are some differences. Barrel longer, handguard different, because the handguard has built-in QD points on either side where the Rattler does not. Everything else on the top half and the receiver is pretty much the same. It comes with a different grip, which is the bigger SIG style grip, where the Rattler one comes with a short Rattler grip there. So they are a little bit different. Now the RSAR comes with a 7.75 inch barrel. The Rattler comes in at 6.75 inches. So you might be asking yourself, Mr. Jaeger, if you bought the RSAR, why have you bought one that's pretty much exactly the same with a slightly shorter barrel and slightly shorter handguard? And there's good reason for that. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. First of all, if I can find the right Allen key, it's a 4mm Allen key. We're going to take the stock and we're going to fit that. I'm going to pop this on here. Usually I find it is easier just to completely remove that the grip part of the stock, because sometimes if you try and just loosen it off and leave it in place, it doesn't kind of want to separate. So I tend to just pull them all the way off. First thing you should do if you pick up a Salvo MCX model after fitting your stock, if I can do it here because these are very tight from the factory. Let me just fold the stock here. So the first thing you want to do is you want to fold the stock. You want to put a 4mm Allen key in this one and just make sure it's tight. So this one's tight. The one on the other one was a little bit loose. So Salvo have really tightened these stocks up. So the problem I had with the early Salvo models, which I can grab the Virtus and show you, was that the stocks were a little bit loose. So it was also the same on the BRN 180. Sorry, I've got so many guns in this room. So it'll look a little bit different because it's got a 3D printed cheat riser on, but I don't know if you can see this. The stock is very loose, and it's not the stock that goes through to here. It's to do with the bracket. So they really have improved the tolerances on the stocks. And again, not a lot of companies just keep improving like that. So you'll see this one, there is no movement in it whatsoever, which is why it's a little bit harder to sort of get it unfolded when they're new. So sometimes you have to like hit them up and then fold them, and it folds to the side like that. Push it up again. It's usually a little bit easier, I say, as I get it stuck. So we just push that up again, fold it round. Although it is harder to fold it, I much prefer this because there is zero wiggle, there's zero wobble in this stock. So Salvo are making improvements. Now, talking with the guys at Salvo, because we questioned the new bolts, Salvo are basically saying that a manufacturer can come in, or a distributor can come in, sorry, and they can order 2 versions of each model. So you can get this version with the stainless steel bolt, or you can get it with a cast bolt. And I think I said in the last video that that is a big mistake. I would just ship them all with stainless steel bolts, get rid of the cast bolts. It's just, you know, it's problems waiting to happen, basically. So the other difference some of the eagle-eyed viewers out there might see is this does not have a faux bolt forward assist. On the RSAR and the other models, it has it. On the Rattler and on my older style Rattler from Toxicant, they don't have them. They just have this deflector. They don't have, you know, a fake forward assist. So all the materials on these are aluminium, but we will get our magnet out to see if there's any steel parts, because I can't quite remember from the RSAR video. So if we break this open here, Z plate is steel, bolt release is aluminium, which if you remember on the Double Eagle URGI video I did recently, this was all steel. Mag release, the latch itself is steel, but the rest of the buttons are aluminium. Z plate's obviously steel, hammer is steel, the auto sear is steel, the sears in the back are steel, the fire selectors are aluminium, and of course the trigger itself is steel. On the stock it's all aluminium apart from the pin that goes through it, and you're pretty much the same throughout the rest of the bolt. Now the bolts are stainless, so they're not magnetic, but trust me, they are stainless steel. So we'll whack this back together here. There is zero wobble on this. So on the RSAR, which I'm going to try and demonstrate to you now, we have seen this on multiple RSAR models. Don't know if you can hear that. So on all of the RSARs, the handguards are loose, so they rattle a little bit. It's not a massive amount of movement, but it's, you know, enough for you to notice. Where on this one, which is the Spear Rattler, which is the 6.75 inch barrel, you do have to be very careful because a lot of the retailers don't make it obvious. They'll call them the same thing. Like I've seen this on retailers' websites and it's listed as the RSAR. It's not. This is the Rattler, the Spear Rattler. But this is rock solid. I'm kind of disappointed really that the RSAR, which was the model I initially wanted, is wobbly compared to this. So let's give it a quick chrono. This is a UK spec gun, so it does have an inner barrel that ends about here. We do have an ambi bolt release. I'm going to take the magazine. I'm going to charge it with some propane. These Double Eagle and Salvo Precision Standard magazines, I think, are still the best magazines to go for, other than the TM mags, because the PMag market's got very muddy. There's a load of bad products out there. Right, 0.25 gram BBs. Just a disclaimer, there could be a couple of 2.8s roped into this because this had been like messed with, but they should predominantly be 2.5s. We're going to turn this on. It's set to 0.25 gram BBs. We're going to whack that in the Rattler. drop the bolt forward, point the barrel down, you see one drops out. So what do? We lock the bolt back, give it a couple of turns on the hop, whack your mag back in, drop the bolt, point the barrel down, you see no BB drops out. So the hop is capturing the BB. 0.25 gram BBs. Let me move this stuff out of the way, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Oh. Shot number 1. We're at 0.929 joules. Pretty much on point with the rest of them. 0.933, 0.896, 0.905, 0.776, 0.87, 0.783, 0.852, 0.833, and 0.848. So we started about 0.9, dropped to about 0.8.5 joules, which is expected because they do fit very short inner barrels in these things. You probably want to just, if you do, extend the barrel, shove an impasse in there and get it to your desired thing. So let's dump the rest of the mag on auto. We've got about 20-ish rounds in there. The gun shot flawlessly, no gas spit, unlike some other brands. No gas spit, fed every round, locked back on empty. It's what we've come to accept from Salvo, and I'm going to make a bold statement now, and don't get me wrong, I am a huge fan of the Toxicant guns that I've got. I've got the Spear CSAW and I've got the original Rattler. I really like those guns. In some areas, like externally on the receivers and the handguards, I think Toxicant has the edge in terms of quality. But they're more expensive. They don't come with a stock. They don't come with a magazine. They don't come with an inner barrel. So you have to build them up yourself. They do have a bunch of different models on their website, but they are more expensive. So now you can get a MCX model. They do tons of different models. You've got the Virtus in different barrel lengths. You've got the Spear LT 10.5, 11.5. You've got the CSAW. You've got the Rattler. You've got the Spear RSAR. You've got the Spear Rattler. I'm probably missing out a couple of models there. The MCX Hunter. They're smashing it with the models. The externals are getting better. They're now shipping them with stainless steel bolts. They're so rigid. The stocks are better. The magazines are good. I took the Rattler grip off my Toxicant because it's a very small grip. I preferred something a little bit bigger. And I just don't think, because I saw a post where Toxicant was saying that they're not going to be supporting their MCX models with parts or something like that. Now I might be getting that wrong. It's just stuff that I've seen online. On Reddit and other places where people have emailed them and they've had a response back. That could be a language barrier. There could be some miscommunication and mistranslation there. But they're more expensive. They're harder to get parts. And, you know, something like this, you're getting it built, ready to go out the box. You slap some gas and some ammo in your mag. You're good to go. You put your stock on. You get a nice big, fairly stout sized gun case, which, like I say, I've got 5 or 6 of them now. One of the guys at HC2, I'll shout out Liam, was asking me for if I wanted to sell one the other day, and I was like, no, I really like my cases, but to be honest, I've got that many of them now. I might offer one to him, but they're just getting better. I think now if you want an MCX MWS model, this is the brand to go for over Toxicant, over, I mean, I haven't looked at the Pro, but I've seen things online. I've seen enough of these gas blowout models now to pick out key points when you're looking at performance and you're looking at them spitting gas and they're a bit hit and miss. If you want a gas blowback MCX MWS replica, and I have bought this with my own money, they haven't sent me anything, I think Salvo Precision is the brand you should be taking notice of. Use them with the Double Eagle, the Salvo Stanag magazines. Like I say, we've had them in stock on the website. We've also got the TAM ones if you want them for the MCX Hunters. And the only reason we're getting to it now that I bought this, I didn't actually want this model, but I want to do something with it. Now, I'm going to do it in the video because I'm a bit too excited myself. You saw on the URGI, I'm going to be going for like an SD build, and that's what I'm hopefully planning to do with this one. So, we're going to take off these couple of screws on the side. This might be a massive financial mistake. It might not fit. I might have a lot of modification to do, but we're going to see. So this is, and I've checked images online, I've checked Toxicant do a model that I'm going to be building to see what model I would have to choose, and it was the 6.75 inch barreled spear rattler was the model that I needed to do this. However, the sort of unknown variable, shall we say, is the front end that I've ordered for this comes from an aftermarket brand. I have no idea if they're meant for like the APFGs and such. So in here is a product from Airsoft Artisan, and this is the Spear SD handguard, and it's a chonker, because basically I was looking on Toxicant's website, I saw they had the Spear SDs. It comes in kit form, so I'd have to spend money on barrel, I'd have to spend money on a stock and this, that, the other. And I was thinking, well, perhaps I can buy one of these, buy this from Airsoft Artisan. Now, there might be some modification I need to do. Maybe I'll have to switch this part out, which shouldn't be too hard to do. It looks like the screws are kind of in the same place. It looks a little bit wider. Actually, it might be just on point. So we're going to chuck this on and see if it lines up and fits. So we've got a couple of screws in here. What is odd is these screws, 2.5 maybe. These screws are in there, but they don't come all the way through, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to extract them anyway. We can always replace the screws with some longer ones if need be. So I'm guessing the Airsoft Artisan ones are designed to fit the APFGs or the VFCs. So we're going to see if this was a massive mistake or we might be able to get away with it. Just drop the bolt out there. So we line this up. It is very tight. So there might be a thickness difference on the tabs. Looks like there is, so we might have to like shave these down ever so slightly. I bought this on the understanding that I was probably going to have to do some fabrication work to get this to fit. It does kind of fit into the rails, but not quite all the way. I fear that if I whack this on, it's going to get stuck and then I'm not going to be able to get it off. So it looks like there's a tolerance difference here, which isn't too bad. This is going to slide down. It's going to cover all this up. It should mate up nicely. I'm wondering if it's going to be easier to adjust the rails or adjust the receiver. So I'm going to have to measure this up, but basically what this does is it goes on over here and gives us a Spear SD handguard, to which we can then, if we remove this, we can keep this flash hider on. There's a couple of suppressed choice we got. So this is the one that come with the MCX Hunter, which will of course thread straight on. I do have one of these in black on the Toxicant. So if we look at that there, it'd probably stick out just ever so slightly. So I have a black one, a Toxicant one, on my CSAW, but it is, I remember putting it on and it will not come off. Now, I can get another one of these, which is the Salvo ones. This one's completely unbranded. So there's that decision. I also have a spare Toxicant one, but this one is a larger one. Pretty sure these are the same thread. That's where we find out they've done it a little bit different. So we could go longer on it, which would stick out a little bit further, which I'm not a massive fan of. Or the third option, obviously this is the early prototype one, so you have to bear with me. We can actually fit an STFU in there, which is a hell of a chunky suppressor. This is a 50mm suppressor, and it disappears in this handguard. So I was hoping I'd get lucky and this thing would go straight on. I knew it was like a very slim chance, so I've got some modifications to do. I think I'm going to modify this rather than the gun in case I want to put that back on. What we could end up probably doing is, in fact, we should be able to get away with it. The holder on this side is a lot thicker, but I think we modify this, we trim it down. It's probably going to be easiest if we, it's going to be hard to get the material off on the inside, so we can just maybe trim the outside of it here, just notch that down a little bit, maybe just clean up this with a file. I'm probably going to come in and Cerakote it at a later date anyway, but I don't think it's a million miles off. I'm going to have to get the calipers out and measure. It might just be a case of, yeah, it's too fat to go in the rails, because these aren't cheap handguards. These are like 115, 120 quid, but it's going to look great. It's still going to be cheaper than me buying a Toxicant, and I managed to get it all together pretty quickly, so that's going to be a project for me when I get back from Germany. And let me know in the comments down below if we should keep it with a SIG suppressor, which is how it's meant to be ran, or do we put a chonker in there of an STFU. I will be doing the new STFU soon, which this is obviously like a crude 3D printed prototype, but we could have that. Where does this sit? So that would be there, suppressor would be there, so we could have the new version of the STFU on there. Obviously it would be all black, but the problem with that is having it too fat, we block off all these M-lock slots, so it might be better going with the thinner SIG suppressor like this and just keeping access to all these slots where we want to put grips on, or lights and lasers and stuff like that. So there you have it. Not the outcome we wanted, but it kind of was the outcome we expected, so I can't really grumble all too much. We can slide this back on here. What I'll do is I'll end up just measuring all this and just getting it the same. It's the best way to do it. Let's pop this back on. This is a T20. Because I don't want to modify the gun and then decide, right, I don't want that to be an SD anymore, I want it to be a Rattler again. It's having the adjustability to do it. I don't want to modify the gun and then when this handguard goes back on, it's really sloppy, because it is really nice at the moment. Another good thing about the Salvos over the Toxicants as well, the Toxicants have those brass wheels that sit here and they constantly fall off. On the Salvos, you don't have to worry about it. Obviously the major downside with the Salvos is they don't come traded, but that's an easy thing to fix. So there you have it, the Spear Rattler from Salvo, which is the 6.75 inch barrel. If you're not bothered between this and the RSAR, I think this is probably going to be a better purchase for you, just because the handguards are tighter on these compared to the RSARs. So you'll have to take that information and do with it what you want. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about this bad boy. It's a nice little package. I love my Toxicant Rattler. I have had the most fun in CQB with my Toxicant Rattler. Even with it being short, I've had a big suppressor on it with running a tracer. They are just absolutely superb little guns. And it's still chugging like an absolute champ. So there it is. There's your information. Get involved with the community. You can either comment down below, or you can get involved with the Agriculture Discord. The link is always in the description down below, so easy to find. Over 2,000 members in there, all GBB enthusiasts, and we've got snipers and pistol enthusiasts as well. Just get involved. Come and join the conversation. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you liked it. I hope if you're going to Germany, you can come and say hello to me when you're there. I'm pretty easy to spot. So, as always, thanks for watching. And from me and Bench, we'll be seeing you in the next one.